We all agree that politicians value re-election. Politicians, a typical politician will do virtually anything to make sure that they are re-elected. If it is about forming new allies, they will. If it is about towing the party lines, they will. Whatever it is that they're supposed to do, they will do it to ensure they are in good graces with the voters and get re-elected. However, there is a question here. You saw that over 80% of Mount Kenya MPs voted overwhelmingly to send Rigathi Gachagua home. Why this was very strange is because Rigathi Gachagua already controls Mount Kenya voters, and he had made it very clear that anyone who was not aligned with him was going to be voted out come 2027. And to make matters worse, he said any leader who tried to even table the motion, let alone voting against him, was actually signing their political death warrant, so to say. So why would these MPs still insist, risk it all, and go ahead and vote to impeach and send Rigathi Gachagua home, considering the immense influence he had over the voters? If you are interested in that answer, stay tuned. And if you are watching for the first time, I urge you to take a moment and subscribe to this channel so that you don't miss the next video. Answer the question, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to give you some brief background here. Kikuyus are some of the most industrious people you can come across. Hawa ni watu wa kujituma. They are not the type to sit and wait for goodies. So you are looking at people who are spread across the country, doing business and trying to make ends meet. You go to places like Lamu, you have a serious community of Kikuyus. You go to Eldoret, you come to Kisumu, you visit even my small town of Oyugis, you will still find Kikuyus there. I bet there is even a Kikuyu in Migingo Island doing some fish business. So these are people that are spread everywhere. You remember even when terrorists attacked a certain quarry in Mandera, some of the people who were murdered there were Kikuyus. So Kikuyus are everywhere. However, because they have been in power for over 35 years, there is a misconception that they have had it easy, that the system somehow has made life easier for majority of the Kikuyus by virtue of being closer to power. And this has given birth to a resentment, sort of. So some people are plainly convinced that Kikuyus are owning whatever they are owning because it was somehow given to them, or a path was paved for them. And so that inequality, you remember there was even a time Kalonzo was saying that he will pose, it was in a campaign rally at Uhuru Park, if you could recall. He was saying that development in Central Province should be paused so that other regions can catch up. That feeling that Kikuyus have had it easy and they have been enjoying a lot of benefits by virtue of having their sons being at the apex of leadership in Kenya, has led to that resentment I was talking about. So people have this feeling against Kikuyu, and it's usually so bad at times that even though the fact is that majority of Kikuyus struggle just like any other Kenyan, people are persuaded that because the elites, of course, because of the arrogance of the elite, people are persuaded that every Kikuyu is enjoying life the way the elite of that community are. That is not true. Majority of Kikuyus, if you've lived in places like Nairobi, you know they struggle. You would be in town, it is raining, and you would see a Kikuyu lady with a kid at the back trying to hawk an umbrella. That is somebody struggling. Those are not people who are having it easy. Most of the odd jobs you'll find them doing. So these are not people who are having it easy, but the misconception, there's a perception that is very wrong, but it is there. It is in the minds of Kenyans from other places. But when a leader decides to incite the Kikuyus, telling them you deserve more. He comes up with 40, with one man, one vote, 1 shilling. The belief that Kikuyus are the majority in terms of population and therefore should enjoy the most of resources from national government, when there is already a misconception that they already had it better, other people will, the resentment that I was talking about grows. And so, Rigathi Gachagua, having studied Kikuyus, he realized that the best way to make himself invincible in that community was to revive that Kikuyu supremacy thing. So he would make them feel that they are being targeted, they are being hated on by others because they are special and other things. And this, when he says it, I tell you, any community, when you incite them, when you make them believe that they are special people, they're just being hated on, other people would destroy them if it was not for you, they will rally behind you. And so that is what Kibaki did, because Kibaki had a chance to actually debunk all these myths against Kikuyu privilege, but he didn't. He just practiced open favoritism, and it really made people have, it really contributed to the growth of that resentment I was talking about. Uhuru came in, and Uhuru really tried in his first term to demystify all this, but because he became desperate in the second term, he wanted Kikuyu support, he embraced favoritism. Rigathi, on the other hand, has decided that he's not even going to go the route of Uhuru of pretending with favoritism. Him is going to incite the Kikuyus to feel that they have been targeted for long, that they are special people that are being hated on, that even Ruto's government is planning very bad things against them. You remember his statement that there's very bad things that are being planned against you, and I am there and I know them, and one day I will tell you. So you see, when a senior most leader, because Rigathi Gachagua is according to the politics of the current politics, is the senior most leader from the region. And what happens? He goes and he tells his community that something is being planned evil against you, and I know it, and I will not agree to it. So he painted himself as a messiah, sort of the Kikuyus, that Ruto and other communities were planning and gunning against Kikuyus. And by creating that siege mentality, he got Kikuyus under him. But that is not all. He didn't even stop there. After he got Kikuyus to believe in him as a leader, Rigathi now decided to make them act on these feelings. Like now, Kikuyus felt that the only way is to get rid of Ruto. Ruto is now an enemy, that if they don't get rid of him now, he will get rid of them later. And so this was now starting to become ugly, because you have people who supported Ruto, but who are being told that Ruto is planning very evil things against them. They have also been made to believe they are extremely special, that they are hated for being special, that they deserve more, but some people out of jealousy do not want them to have what they deserve, that they are the people who formed this government, and for that reason they are supposed to have to call shots, to the point that anything that you had given the Kikuyus, whether it was ministries, whether they have the position of the deputy president, etc., was not enough. They now wanted more. And if Ruto was not going to give more, they were feeling like there was need to even overthrow Ruto. And this started making other communities feel, started reviving that resentment I used to talk about. And considering that Kikuyus are distributed everywhere, I remember if you can recall the statement by the Lamu women rep, and she said this before the deputy president, that whenever you talk of Mulima here and there, Murima, what do you think you are doing to some of us who are not in that particular location? But you have now come up with this tribal segregation, where you want Kikuyus all over the country to feel that they are betrayed wherever they are, that people hate them. This was going to really revive the resentment, and it was going to make it very difficult for Kikuyus to operate, because the ones that are in Chinga or Dhaya and other places, these ones have no issues. They believe they deserve everything. They deserve more. According to some of them, Kenya is Mount Kenya. And Mount Kenya is Kenya, something like that. But there are Kikuyus everywhere. There are some in Eldoret, Nakuru, Wajir, every other place. So once you incite other Kenyans against Kikuyus, then you don't know what will happen. And MPs looked at this and said, it is time we saved our people from this line that Rigathi was taking. Because it's not as if Rigathi cares about Kikuyus more than anybody. No, he doesn't. What he did, he was trying to use them so that he can use them as a bargaining tool. So long as Kikuyus are obeying him like a king, then he can now make deals, political deals. For instance, it is on that basis that Kalonzo is now listening to everything Rigathi says. You've even seen Kalonzo is trying his best to defend Rigathi Gachagua. Why? Because Rigathi Gachagua now can promise him that come 2027, I can bring the Kikuyu support to you. And that is why Rigathi wanted not because he cared about them or he wanted them to have better lives, etc. No, that is not the issue. The issue is if you incite people enough and you make them believe in you as their savior, that without you they would be destroyed, then now you can use them as tools. You can use them even as human shield. You can send them to town to go and die and do your bidding, everything for you. And that is what other MPs said. We cannot allow this to happen. In 2022, Kikuyus had made a move. They had made an unprecedented move by voting for somebody who was not from their land. And that brought down the resentment. People were like, okay, those who believe that Kikuyus can only vote for a Kikuyu were like, okay, but they voted for Ruto against what their son was telling them. So the resentment, the misconception that was there started to die. Now Rigathi was reviving it, and these MPs said, ladies and gentlemen, that they are not going to support that. And that is why they were willing to risk it all. They were willing to even impeach Rigathi, even if it meant that they are not going to be re-elected. These people had said, Liwe Liwalo, we are going to save our people. We cannot allow our people to go this route again, because we know the consequences of having other Kenyans looking at you as if you feel entitled. And so they remove Rigathi. The hope is once they remove the inciter, Rigathi, now that is impeached, is still struggling he still has some hope that the courts may save him, but I don't think so. From the look of things, that ship already sailed. It's a done deal. I don't see Rigathi coming back and working with Ruto as his deputy. Even his statement today, when he came from hospital, it was just to paint Ruto as the devil. And so I don't think they are going to work together. And the belief of these MPs is that once Rigathi is impeached, he can neither vie nor can he be appointed anywhere. Slowly by slowly, his influence among the people will go down, and then Kikuyus will go back to where they were, where they believe that they are part of a society like Kenya. They didn't have this siege mentality. They are focusing on how can we work together as Kenyans, as opposed to reducing themselves to a region and starting to demand certain things and feeling like they are being denied things because of their tribe, and feeling like there are enemies out there, people who hate them, or the government is against them. Slowly by slowly, the likes of Ichung'wa believe that these people will will reset back to where they were in 2022, and life will continue. And that is why these people are willing to risk it all, ladies and gentlemen, to save Kikuyus from themselves by removing Rigathi Gachagua. If you found this video useful, please drop a comment below. Let me know what your views are, and also drop a like. Otherwise, thank you for watching. Let us meet in the next video.